Welcome to the stream. I literally just finished doing some self-hypnosis. I'm a little low energy right now. It's been a long day, but I am stoked for this game. For some of you, if you listened to the debut stream, I got a bit of a soft spot in my heart for the Ace Attorney series. I'm really looking forward to having some fun with this. I really enjoyed. This is going to be a partially blind playthrough. I did play a little bit of this, or rather I watched a little bit of it being Let's Played back in the day. Let's go ahead and switch over to our other screen here. The second game is completely blind, so that'll be fun. But I've enjoyed the Ace Attorney game series for a while now. And this game, when I saw it was coming out, I was really looking forward to it. And I promised myself I wouldn't play it until the streaming setup was done, so it's been out for a while. I'm a little bit behind, but now I get to play it. And I have put aside this time. I've, like I said, had a long day, but now I am finished. I got stuff I got to take care of. I still got to do some emails. I got to make some recordings for some clients, but everyone can wait. Everything can wait. This is taking priority. And this is also going to be kind of fun for me because for those of you who enjoy visual novels, the Danganronpas, the stuff like that, if you're anything like me, you find that a big appeal of this is watching other people play and their reactions. And I've watched certain series. I've watched the Zero Escapes and the VA11 Hall A's and multiple playthroughs by a lot of different people and seeing how they react. And now it's kind of weird to know that I'm playing this game and now I get to be that for someone else. So if you're here and you're watching this series and you're checking this out, and maybe, just maybe, this might even be the first time you're watching the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, well, thank you for joining. But we are going to get right the hell into it. Also, sometimes I like to bring up a little reference sometimes for how the game I'm playing ties into hypnosis in some way. This one's a little bit of a vague connection, but I will say this. When I first started doing stage hypnosis and I was working with branding to come up with a look, doing all my signage, coming up with my music, all that other fun stuff, my stage hypnosis getup is literally based off of Prosecutor Gatto from Trials and Tribulations. Literally, when I was working with someone to work on costuming, I took a picture of Gatto, colored it purple, stuck my head on it, and said, "Here, we're doing this." That's literally what I was doing. I was actually semi-referencing the prosecutor from this game when I was designing this character right here, right now. That ended up being a little bit complicated, and I ended up not going that path. But, yeah. Anyway, without further ado, I want to get into this bad boy. So let's go ahead and flip over and get this thing going. And I'm going to hope that the music isn't too bad. Let's see how that works. Doing a little audio balance before we do anything else. I think we're good. I think that works. We'll roll with it. All right. So, without further ado, like I said, I have been waiting for this game for flippin' ever. I was actually tempted to do a little bit of voice box, using a voice changer for certain characters just to go all out on it, but we're not going to go quite that far. I think that'd be a little bit too tedious. But we are going to have some fun with this. Again, thank you for joining us. We are going to get right into the very first game. And I'm curious to see how well this holds up. Again, I'm used to the fan translation, so now we get to deal with the new translation. Herlock Sholmes, among other nonsense. But anyway, without further ado, Hell yeah. Let's do this.
The Empire of Japan, after opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide.
This doesn't sound like a Japanese accent.
But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
He did it. He totally did it. Lock him up. I forgot to mention, we're going to do a case every stream. So 10 streams, I'm assuming. I'm guessing there's 5 cases per game, so we're just going to fire right through the tutorial case for this game, and then next Friday we'll do the next case, and it'll just be a Friday thing from now on. All right. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. We're going to have to feel out the voice for the main character because he's a bit of a green noob, but we'll figure it out. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? Oh yeah, that music. The music in this game is amazing. Okay, we're not doing Japanese. Okay, everyone's English or some other accent for a while here. What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glares, murderer! Sorry. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yumi University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough! Oh, no, wait, that wasn't you. He's not obligated to listen to such abuse, officer. Who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Also, I have a sword, so screw you. Lawyer? Yes. And until the judge has given his verdict on this case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Did I mention my sword? Ugh, technicalities. Look at you, you haven't even graduated yet. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Oh, sick burn. Right, Ryunosuke? Ryunosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, I suppose that wasn't my fault. Also, where is that breeze coming from exactly? But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. Ah, there you go again. Apologizing. We got a British bailiff and a Canadian defendant. Everyone's here except the Japanese, oh, except for this guy. And just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yumi University professor, murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not. You have to believe me, I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Kazuma Asagi, my best friend, also in his second year at Yumi University. Am I saying that right? Asagi, that should be right. Why is it flashing back there? There's some weird graphical little glitches here. I wonder if those are showing up on the stream. They are. I'm seeing them, they are. Huh. But he's far more clever than I. A star student, in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old, here in Japan anyway. My qualifications don't mean much. Yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like... Oh, what? But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. 3 days ago. Yeah, that's when all this started. You're probably wondering how I got here. Congratulations, Kazuma! It looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know, I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you, and proud as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple that's making his little head ribbon thing just flow perpetually. I want to bring about... Never mind. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Is this the old dude? Asagi, may I have a word? I'm not going to remember that voice. Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now, Asagi. You should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel like I've seen him before at university. I see. I'll go at once then. I'm tempted to give her the Dr. Claw voice just for lulz, but no. I'm not even going to try to do a female voice. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryunosuke. I'll see you in the court. Yeah, thanks, Kazuma. Awkward. Yeah, what I said. If I may. Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yeah, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yumi University. Ah, Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asagi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. He thinks I'm his friend? As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asagi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again. What? As I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asagi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered. What a bro! But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it. I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true, nonetheless. I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Oh, the suspense music's kicking in. Hell yeah. Do it. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. But what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so as soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? Am I marrying someone? This is a weird solution, but what will the question be? Surely not, do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant, court's about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. It would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asagi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get your ass out here. Get moving. There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. Thanks, buddy. This is it. If the trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what laid ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. We're just going to keep zooming in on this door. Zooming in on this door. Zooming in on this door. Never mind. My one and only chance of proving my innocence, the trial that would decide my destiny. All right, let's do this. Payne, you asshole, where are you at? So this is that courtroom. The Supreme Court of Judicature? Judicature. Sure, we'll go with it. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time, but for now, you need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. That is one hell of a beard, sir. Oh, God, this guy's gonna need a voice. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. I went right into the red with that audio. As this is an unusual circumstance, I am obligated to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do, I need to answer quickly. What should I do? It's too late. Asagi already answered. I'm screwed. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate for his defense. It's not. I'm doing it. What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. You'll be... What? You crazy man. What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikotoba told me everything just now, before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off? Could you reword that, please? No, it's not that, really. It's just that, well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes, I knew that's how you'd feel, which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. As there is zero consequence for doing this, I don't know why we weren't doing it anyway. I don't know what the hell Asagi's got to stick up his butt for, but whatever. Well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel, really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent, he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Huh? What? Oh, yeah, right, exactly what he said. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. There's the Phoenix Wright pose we all know and love. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court. You must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. Don't I look like a smug son of a bitch? As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of the Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standard of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, defendant Naruhodo? Yes, yep, Your Excellency, yep. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. In other words, I am going to give you a tutorial. My competence? What does that mean? It means he's going to quiz you on the UI, stupid. He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. So, let's start with the very simplest of questions. Who did you murder? What is your name? Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. I knew it. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I care to remember. I don't actually have a court document button yet, do I? But, wait. Oh, I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again? Cindy Stone? Ryunosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank. You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. Where's the button? You haven't given it to me yet. It's simple. You can access the court record with a press of E. If you ever find yourself forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. I just have to press E for the court record? Alright, there's no time to lose. Well, now it's down here. Can I just click this? I can. This is the list of evidence you've collected. Now try switching with people instead with E. I'm just trying to do this with the mouse, so hopefully that works well. You'll find details about the victim here. When you're done, just press C to go back. Sup, bro? The victim of this case. So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. This is so ugly. Like, just put the court record button in the corner like you usually do. Now, you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. We at least had time to read a few good books while we figure this out. Find the victim in the people section of the court record, then press R to present. Try it now. Can I just double click? Nope. Right click, middle click, nope. Alright.
Yes!
The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Wilson, not Watson? They had to fiddle with the names. That's why we got Sherlock Sholmes coming up later, huh? Wilson. The victim's name was Dr. Wilson. Sure. Gotcha. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. Does that have a weird anagram? Nope. Yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilled on our own soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yumi University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. Could we end the frickin' exposition then? In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. Yeah, politics be like that. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. I'm just going to leave that alone. Well, there's some timely topical examples of similar things happen in the real world, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Oh dear, look at the time. I better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little bit longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. I don't know, I think their English is pretty good. The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. He's the guy whose name I forgot. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. More tutorial? Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? Sounds like he got shot. State before the court the cause of death. The cause of death. Well, obviously that was, how did I kill him again? Ryunosuke. Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Do it now. It's probably this. I was right.
Yes!
Well... According to this document, one of these pages says that the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right. The, post-mortem report. In the West, the doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later, which you probably will. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. So modern, so scientific. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It reminds me of the original games where everybody was all working with VHS tapes. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. It's almost like someone just took a picture. Very well, I'm satisfied with your answers. Good job passing the tutorial. Only took you 30 minutes. Let us start the trial. I'm an airplane. Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. This is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikitoba? Yes. Clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. You're my Mia? Can you channel your big boob sister? Oh, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said this. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. Seriously, what is wrong with the air conditioning in this room? Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. This guy. This guy coughs a lot, if I remember. Gonna try to make him sound kind of weak and frail. Of course, my my name is Satoru Hosonaga. Satoru Hosonaga. I know this guy's coming up later, so I better get used to his name. I am the head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called Le Carnival. Also, I bleed. Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, Let me just forego the voices. Except for Algie, of course, because screw him. It's a regular occurrence. It doesn't really bother me. Well, it really, really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago. Understood. Hokusanaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir. And no penalty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We had few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there was only 3 tables still occupied. It fits in with my memory of it too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. So let's start to finally get an idea of what the crime scene looked like here. It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery. I think making him kind of breathy works. It makes it sound like there's a lot of effort in him talking. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair. And Standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student.
Yes!
Yes, I did it! Hold on, let me just clarify something here. Why do you sound like you've just run a mile? Well, I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor. I didn't shoot him.
Objection!
No! I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur. But... the next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you'll be penalized, Detective Naruhodo. Where's my life bar? Don't worry, Ryunosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness. If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today. Yes, without question. I see. I win. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Huh? Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around the table? That's a load of bollocks. What's the matter, Ryunosuke? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, this crazy suspenseful music started playing. And there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? We'll wait and see. Well, we'll wait and see. I desperately want to say something, but I was told not to interject. Yep, stay in your lane, boy. Ryunosuke, if your parents tell you to study, you're the kind of man who would diligently get to work, aren't you? Oh, did I pick wrong? I suppose I am. I've never gotten into Yumi University otherwise. But you can't just always follow the rules in life, you know. If you don't say what you want to say right now, you'll seriously regret it when you're found guilty. Alright, you scared me. I won't forget that piece of advice in a hurry. I did pick wrong. And there is something I want to say. I'm just going to shut my eyes and say it. I'm going to do the opposite of what the player picked. Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection!
No! Dear me. What are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw. Hosonaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy. No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please, have a look if you'd like to. Let me see. Sketch of the establishment's layout, drawn by yourself, I presume. That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. I can't even make heads or tails of this map. There's like, okay, giant red X died there. Where's everyone else? Well, you're clearly a very terrible artist. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Oh, of course. Here you are. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. Yes, he's clearly dying. We're going to have another body in a minute. Thanks for your business card. I wonder what it says on the other side. Because that's how paper works in this game. So, I'm an airplane again. The court has now heard a precise of the case. That's not a word you see often. Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Oh, screw me. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency? If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. I haven't even gotten to a witness testimony yet. Jeez. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial, the prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. I know how this game works. You've got 15 different kinds of definitive evidence and all of it sucks. What do you think I should do, Kazama? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You said it, Professor Mikitobas said it, and so is the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke. That's what I'm saying. We haven't gotten a witness testimony here, man. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency, in your face. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. This is what I'm saying. Indeed. Prosecutor Ouchi, please continue with proceedings. Tisk. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint. No, they don't. But I can be a devil when I want to be. In a few short moments from now, I'm going to be an airplane again. That dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witnesses. Very well, officer. Bring forth the witnesses at once. Are they all going to be up here at once? Nope, just these two guys. Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the record. No. Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Yasanosa, reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find, employ as a purveyor of fine articles from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasutai, a humble premises in the 2nd District. Kiori Koritkuta, at your service. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned, but didn't actually draw because he's terrible at drawing things. Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon, and, not infrequently, converse with interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business. I can't understand a word that old man is saying. Is that some sort of commentary on my voice acting skills? If so, story checks out. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks like more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct? Affirmative! The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner what can only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearm. Sir, what was that noise? This man's as impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. You did. So this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yeah. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. About friggin' time we got onto it. Some actual gameplay. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred. Sir, yes, sir. Standing by to report, sir. Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon. What dim witnesses saw? I wonder if there's something I could do to prop up my mic here. We're just going to roll with it. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity candidate fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Okay. That was an unnecessary detail, which I'm almost certainly going to catch you on. I was on my hands and knees, investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio. Don't care about that. So you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim, even though you got it wrong. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. Why do you have a knife? What times we live in, when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anybody. Is that really true, Ryunosuke? Yes, all I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. Which was a very smart move on my part. After I said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and I sat drinking some coffee. Then when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I thought that perhaps the professor had dropped it. That's still not an excuse to pick it up. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up, safety regulations on guns have improved over the centuries, apparently. Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal is. There is. Ryunosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Oh, we got one of those protagonists that just answers every statement with another question. Do it now. As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly the testimony of the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of... shut up. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? I, don't want to go to jail. I mean, the defense demands its right to a cross-examination. The thing the guy said. Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. How did he know? The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
Objection!
Objection! This is the tutorial. The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Kazuma's so commanding. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witness. Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ryunosuke. No kidding. It's been almost an hour, jeez. Let's get right to it. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. It's fine, it's the tutorial case. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witness's statements. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means what that soldier said has to be a lie. Well, that knocks out half the testimony already. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it. And the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying, like that oddly specific statement he made. Now let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them beat you. Wet fish slap. There's my life bar. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Do we want to press things? Let's just go through it again. Why are there 5? I thought there were only 4. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. Oh, there were 5. This guy spoke twice in a row. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian. I don't know why I'm struggling with the word cadet so much. I keep wanting to say candidate. And from the back of that cowardly little weasel. No, I didn't. I was on my hands and knees, investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio. Oh, we're just going through tutorial words here. Listen, Rinosuke, you know there are lies lurking in these statements. It's time to expose them. I understand that. The question is how. Like I said before, the key to this is using evidence that you've collected. You can examine and present evidence when a witness is giving testimony by pressing E. Go through each witness's statement and the details about each piece of evidence, and compare all the facts. Also press everything for dialogue and content. Somewhere in there you'll find something that doesn't add up. In other words, an inconsistency. An inconsistency? Is that like a contradiction? When you find a statement and a piece of evidence that seem to contradict each other, present your evidence with R and rip the witness apart. Sweet! Do I get a sword? Just be careful, because if you assert a contradiction that has no basis, you'll be given a penalty. If you're dealt too many penalties, the defense's case will fall apart and you'll receive a guilty verdict. Just like in real court. So that's it. Peruse the evidence in the court record and find an inconsistency with a witness's statement. Alright, I'll give it a try. Yes, 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 we can hear him over and over again. The exposition in these tutorial cases is always just murder. So keep your head and be measured in your attack. Good luck, partner. Do I want to press things? We know what the inconsistency is. We may just want to jump to it. And from the back. I'm pretty sure that's wrong. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. Let's just roll with it.
Yes!
What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? Thrusting this wad of papers into my moustache. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here. What nonsense? Yeah, what nonsense? I forgot my voice for a minute. What can this document possibly tell us that we don't already know? Well, I mean, obviously that, I know I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom. That's so frustrating. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Kazuma, what? What are you talking about? It's apparent from a single glance at this post-mortem report presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement. What? Sergeant Yasanosa. Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Why you gotta be specific like that? You're just gonna get called out on it. Yes, affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes!
Stop saying yes. But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because of the wonderful thing he does. As is clearly stated in this post-mortem report, fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma. No exit wound, bullet did not pass through the body. The photographic print of the victim clearly shows the same thing. victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? What the? What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again. Certainly there's a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Like, why did you say that? Why? Why did you say that? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious Le Carnival steak, sir. What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Iesanosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. You lying sack of crap. That's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of the trial, just from that one discrepancy. Turnabout, you said the thing. So this is what being an ace attorney's about. But I definitely saw him. That university candidate there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes!
Stop agreeing with the witness. But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. And you, old man, you didn't see the victim the moment the victim was shot either? Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshots interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Treasure. Indeed, the Hoy-era Koban, my precious coin. On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop, Recite, in the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you. On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I preferred my Hoy treasure. Believing that he would purchase such a rare find, I did not, but I was presented with little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, ow, why did I do that? It was there no more. It simply vanished. Koban vanished? Who cares? Hunting around under the table I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there. And then it happened. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoy treasure. Nothing could distract me. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoy Koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. Not naming names or anything. As I'm sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution, which is why we've been spending a bloody hour on it. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. That is some horse crap. Nevertheless, the witness's testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Ouchie? My position is I'm an airplane. Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. I'm so clever. My witnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as Kyoko glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir. I promise I won't lie this time, sir. Excuse me, but there's a baby on your shoulder, I think. Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Ido. He did it. It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Sick burn. Ido, tension! Your father's about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. That is a heck of a booger. The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, none other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. These testimonies are certainly compelling. Yes, I agree, they are very compelling. Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman, there was a young woman at the table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court. Speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact, which will no doubt come back to haunt me as I give it to you. Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, counsel? Indeed. Of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there is only one place set. I figured there'd be two and that'd be my evidence, but I guess not. Alright, we'll have to prove she's there some other way. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not the company of anybody else. I gotta lift my mic up here. I've been hunched over a little bit trying to get this thing to pick up my voice clearly. Let me see if I can fix that. Let's see if that works a little better. Bad enough this thing doesn't pick up my mouth. But anyway, This doesn't make any sense. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. Thank you kindly. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that no one else saw the woman. The waiter before us said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. Hey, screw you, buddy. The witness testimonies we have just heard leave no further room for doubt. These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Takatsuchi Ouchi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor. That's supposed to come back to. How can this be happening? Dude's a mood. The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. Thanks, Maya. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuba. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witness, but make it quick. Understood? Rules can be so unbending at times. Blech. Now this time I think I do have to do some pressing. I don't think I have anything that directly contradicts what's been said so far. What's this got? Can I see this? Can I see this, please? Cute. I can do this. All right. Nothing here proves a thing. That doesn't prove a thing. That doesn't prove a thing. Yeah, I think we're going to have to do some pressing to figure out what's going on. All right, let's have at her. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. It's almost testimony that's almost useful.
Yes!
Why do I keep agreeing with the witnesses? No, it's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire the gun. We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of an uniformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. He just loves to call me cadet. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Good job. Did you see it? Did you see me blink? How could I? And yet, it is an undeniable fact that I did blink. I still don't believe you. So there you have it. Have what? You're a prick? Tension! The sound of the firearm rang in my ears in the very next moment. I saw you waving the gun at the Englishman. I think that says it all, don't you? And let us not forget that the antiquities dealer witnessed the accused in the most incriminating position as well. Isn't that so, Korekata-san? I'll take that as a no. Oh, no. Yes, pointing his gun at the forward man he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see.
Yes!
Okay, Yoda. Yes, it may be true that I was holding the gun at that point in time, but I told you already, that's only because I picked it up off the floor. Well, obviously as the culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away. Ugh. I just finished drinking my coffee and I was about to leave the restaurant when I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. And at exactly that moment, bangity bang. A gunshot rang in my ears. Full of events beyond our control, life is. Sorry? What do you mean? In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas conversely, I failed to pick up the Koban from the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as a result. Anyway, the fact remains, myself, I did see you, with pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner. I do like his little hidden blade. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. That might be interesting to press. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
Objection!
Yes, you have been at pains to point out time and time again. I feel like I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. If only there were people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know, of course the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect. Certainly 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day, and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. Sounds like we're getting something out of this. There was? This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Counsel? It is a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. Hotta Clinic. Wow, Hotta Clinic? Is that a reference to Hottie Clinic, I think it was called, from the second game? Yes, that would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. They just had to put that in there, didn't they? 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case. I wonder. What do you think, Ryunosuke? Hell yeah, add everything. Add all the things. Submit all the things. Well, it is hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered in the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Should I ask for it to be submitted? Hells yeah, give it to me. Yes! Finally, I said yes in an appropriate way. If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. Now, what grounds? Because I'd like it? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Time for sparkling water. 3, 2, 1. Hell yeah. It is hot as balls in here. I gotta stay hydrated. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Objection!
Whether or not they are concerns are up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Gimme. Very well, the court will grant the defense's request. Ugh. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's the most disturbing trend. Yeah, how dare they? Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. Added. What we need right now is new clues. I just remembered the graphical glitches from earlier. I don't think they've happened since then. Hopefully they don't happen anymore. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you want, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Whatever that means. Or perhaps you've forgotten that these witnesses' testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korakuda-san.
Indeed, alone he was the Englishman, dining all by himself, even though I'm pretty sure you just handed him the evidence that proves that that's not the case, but that's fine, whatever.
Yes!
So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? Actually, hang on a second. We can look at this now. Can I examine this in any way? Examine. Nope. I think I'll get to examine it later. So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone.
That I did. Forgive me for the position I placed you in.
How considerate.
So the testimony of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Oh, isn't that interesting? And let's not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. As can clearly be seen, there is only a single beef steak on the victim's table. A meal for one.
Oh, I think I remember what the evidence is for this. But I need to be able to examine that medical report. The antiques dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out! Oh wait, no, I need to press that. Excellent work. We've gleaned some new information that we can't examine. Well, yeah, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report you got before. Now we get to read it. Yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence, so perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. How exactly? I don't know. Read it. You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine. Press space and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Use the arrow keys. Yes, like that. To rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. By using WASD. Hopefully I can just do this with the mouse. You can move the crosshairs around to hunt for clues that may have been missed before. If the crosshairs start to pulsate, press space to investigate further. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. You mean like I was trying to do before? See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I need to use all the buttons to inspect any areas of evidence that look suspicious. There we go, we're jumping right into it. Okay, yeah, I can rotate the absolute crap out of it. And just click where I want to click. It says Hata Clinic on this medical report card. I'll bet the director is a totally handsome dude. I hate clinics almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries. Aren't they all the same? When I was 5, I caught the only cold I've ever had in my life. I had to take some Cold Killer X for it. And I remember even though I felt awful already, I had to have this hideous injection in my arm. Brr, I'll never forget it. Never in my whole life. Most people would give their right arm to have only had one cold in their whole lives. Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where they treat people for illnesses like that. Let's keep looking for clues. We don't want to miss anything. So that was not super useful. Can I open it? Oh, this part says dentist. That's probably the part I want. It looks like this medical report card was first issued quite some time ago. It's probably a record of long-term treatment, that's why. With a family doctor, I imagine. Well, I can't imagine. Going to a doctor, I mean. As long as I'm alive, I'm never consulting one. I'm an anti-vaxxer. Well, if you were dead, there'd be no point, so you don't like doctors then. Why would you? They make you drink horrible-tasting medicine, they give you painful injections, and then they demand lots of money from you from the privilege. All while you're at your lowest ebb. You sound like a model patient, with a bad case of stubbornness, no less, for which the only cure is very bitter medicine indeed. Is that all that I'm getting out of that? Can I open this? Alright. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Well done. Ah, and there's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. He's not in the West. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. Hey, hypnosis has a long history, centuries long, of being used as anesthesia in dentistry, surgery, so kiss my ass. Ah, there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic effects have passed. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. That's what we want. Only took us like 20 minutes of exposition. Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. Medical report has been updated. I am going to slap you across the bloody face with it, you son of a bitch. With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes. So it's time to listen to the testimony again. Definitely. Okay, I didn't press that fifth statement, but I'm not going to bother now because we got what we need. Let's see. Almost the same thing. Pointed the gun. Furthermore, we were the only personnel present. Dining all by himself. That might be what we want. Could have dispatched the Englishman. I think we'll go... Oh, what? I clicked on the other arrow. I don't care. We already did this. Oh, I think the situation's changed a great deal. Yes, yes, yes. There is a discrepancy somewhere? Holy simoleons. The crucial point is the victim had been prohibited from consuming anything but water when he was shot. That fact has not yet been brought to the court's attention. Yes, yes, yes. Alright, so back to this. Pointing us back. Da-da-da. We were the only personnel present. I'm pretty sure it's this guy. Dining all by himself, but then who was the steak for if he can't eat?
Yes!
Alright, we got it right. I wasn't sure if that was the statement, but it turned out. Well, I think,
About what are you withering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer?
Call yourself a witness. I wish I could, but first and foremost, I'm the accused. Ryunosuke. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hands straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Can I go to the bathroom? Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. All right, and thanks for the advice. When do I get to slap the table and not sound like a wet fish? Korakuda-san, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim.
I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy?
Comparing what is written on the report card with your witness statement, something clearly doesn't add up.
Objection!
Do you weigh like 5 pounds?
Dear me, dear me. Have you forgotten my words, so sir, you amateur?
Sorry, what?
You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel, even with the evidence I literally handed you to prove that I'm full of crap. But let's see if I can explain it in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant, except when it's not.
But that's, Remember, Ryunosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point.
Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There's surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witnesses' testimonies the court has heard have been clear and concise.
God, I could use a fan right now. Give me that thing.
The medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there was no one else besides this pale-faced pupil who could have possibly autoplayed the text, and I can't read it now.
The medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that?
What? That outburst half petrified me, boy. You cut off my text. Of course I believe it. How can it possibly be relevant?
Perhaps because Hada Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. Bum 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 bum.
A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Also, why do I hear boss music?
Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted.
What's this now?
And furthermore, if I told you that as a result the victim had been forbidden from eating. The hell?
What are you trying to say, cadet? He had orders not to eat, so what?
It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off.
What? No, that can't.
Korakuda-san.
What, boy? What? You got the problem with what I said?
As you just heard, when he was killed, sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all.
No.
Additionally, there's more. You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that can't possibly be the case, because who was eating the steak, motherfuckers? Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic.
What?
Expertly done, partner. So who does the steak belong to?
What is this nonsense? You little upstart. These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic?
How dare you? Don't you know I'm an airplane?
I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Kazuma with the on-point burns here. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke? Oh, yeah. The thing you said. Yes, most definitely. So having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat, which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who in fact was eating the pictured beef steak? Oh my goodness, who indeed, who indeed? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel. Before we do that, I'm just curious. I can examine this. I can examine this. Alright. We'll save that for now. I was just curious if I could look at it. That'll be coming up shortly, I think. Counsel. Oh, that's me. That's me, isn't it? Alright. The answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of your turning this trial around. The turnabout, as it were. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, I still need to go pee. The person eating the steak at this victim's table must have been... No. Bingo. I'm assuming. Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table.
You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person.
Yes!
There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything, yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was someone else eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witnesses' testimonies are unreliable. You lying bastards. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, I will kill everybody. We will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial, relentlessly.
Kazuma, are you insane? You would take on the government?
Don't worry, counsel. I have no issue with you.
What do you mean?
I have issue with them, those two witnesses on the stand. What are you talking about? What you talking about, Wilson? We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied while giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Oh, hell. And since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Ah, snap.
Complicit in murder? I was just looking for my damn coin, son. It was the baby. He did it.
Negative. Therefore, there was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I was just following orders.
That's right. As the man says, just say you never saw the gentlewoman, is what they told us. Uh-oh. Oh.
What? What did you just say, Kurikata-san?
Oh, no, nothing. Now I need to go pee.
You were just following orders?
Now hold on, lad. I was,
Say you never saw the gentlewoman. When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? Here comes that music.
Objection!
What? What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements? Is this true, you pair of idiots?
Just one simple slip of the tongue. Man, this trial's going to go on for a while. It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth.
No, I didn't do nothing. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this.
Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut?
Well,
That's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? You wouldn't.
this can't be happening.
Ryunosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Ouchie had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean,
To wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, or that guy I got the business card from.
well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. Okay, well, this is probably where the business card is coming up. So we need to name whoever it was that tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Of course, we'll need evidence before we make any firm assumptions. Gotcha, fam. Evidence that proves whether it was whoever it was really did wield his or her power here. Again, gotcha. But how? How can we possibly pick the thing in the court record? Remember how we made progress before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed. God, with the exposition of this game, that's going to take another hour. Thank God we already know it. I want answers. If it's proven that these victims have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe.
Please, wait, Your Excellency. I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god, I knew nothing.
And what does the defense have to say about all this? Well... Oh, we don't even need to examine the card. I think it's just going to assume that we already did. Or have had the option to for a while now. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is... Bozo McGee here. Your business card, you're with the police. Get your ass up there. Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san? The waiter who took the stand earlier?
Yeah, poppycock. What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence.
For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter.
What? If he truly were... Can I see that business card?
Come on, Ryunosuke. Time to hit this court with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hosonaga-san's real identity, as proved by this evidence, which we didn't even need to update. It's just there. Take it, you son of a bee. I'm not sure what this is supposed to prove, counsel. What? Oh, okay. I was about to say, did I accidentally pick the wrong thing?
I think, Your Excellency, that what this proves is not the true nature of the waiter, but the true nature of the accused.
Wait, did I screw something up? Sorry?
A blackguard who would stoop to presenting irrelevant evidence to incriminate an innocent man.
Oh, do I need to examine it and then update it and then present it?
That is the true nature of this rookie.
Just... What? Oh, you better not. Come on, I picked the right thing, didn't I? Alright, let's examine it and see if it updates. Alright. Examine. You little bastard. Well, that's unexpected. What is? Look, do you see it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga. Well, yes, business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected. It's his job title. His job? Oh! Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Because the card didn't say that until I inspected it. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea, but let's face it. The police have a lot of power and influence. If they're wielding it somehow here... See, now if the game were smart, it would have let me present it, and then we would have had the discussion about the thing on the back, and then if it hadn't already updated, then it would just update anyway. I mean, obviously I know the answer. Alright, let's present the exact same piece of evidence, except again.
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question. I agree, it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything. Sorry, Excellency, that's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. I beg your pardon? Or perhaps I should have said the front? Yeah, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. How do business card work? Would someone please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of the business card. Let's talk about this for another hour or two. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession. His true profession. The waiter's profession, but that's surely... Oh, good gracious. That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau.
What? Then the waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before?
The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power, absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand? Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen the foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well...
I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut this time.
Inspector Hosonaga. We're just gonna call you Inspector now. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Gimme! Of course. Here you are. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake.
So you mean to say you really are a detective?
But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course, your salary must be terrible. I was working undercover. Undercover? Yes, there have been a series of incidences at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge right now. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to to this case of homicide. Spoilers, they're not. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information that from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. Oh crap. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also have been aware of this person's presence, having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this diner. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Boy, that's putting it mildly. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable! You guys suck! As I suspected. Bang!
As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady, whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman.
So the truth comes out.
I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the Bureau. It was then that I received some special orders.
Special orders? You mean to say?
Remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders.
But what if this Englishwoman was the killer?
I think it will be in everyone's best interests not to pursue that idea.
Well, again, screw you.
The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect, well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question.
So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case.
But it's not right.
One possibility does spring to mind.
What do you mean, Kazuma?
Yumi University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain. And I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical facility's research laboratory, is a young Englishwoman.
What?
You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour.
You mean, when I removed the woman from the scene of the crime,
I thought it prudent to check her identity first.
Then the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector.
The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. She is indeed a foreign exchange student studying in the research laboratory of Yumi University's medical facility.
What? What is happening here?
I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to Your Excellency to decide how to deal with the situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise, namely that the victim was dining alone. However, as we've now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point.
Objection!
But, Your Excellency, that would be missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain.
Again, screw you.
Our own government would surely be very displeased by such actions.
Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir. You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency.
But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau.
As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So it won't be a problem? Well, I might cough to death, but other than that, nothing will get in my way. Besides keeling over. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student, Giselle Brett, to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear?
Yes. Your Excellency.
Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. To be continued. You know what? I might have to reassess the whole idea of doing a case per day. Or per stream, I should say. Can I save here? I have to save here. You know what? We may start... I mean, I really enjoy this game. I've already emphasized that enough. I've said how much I appreciate the Ace Attorney series. I want to play this game. And if it's going to take this long to get through it, I think I'm going to bump it up to 2 streams a week. So maybe Tuesday and Friday. I don't know. We'll do some other stuff too. Don't worry. It won't just be this. I've got some other ideas for what we can do next week. I'm still planning to play Terraria on Sunday. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I want to take some time to... I don't know. It's when I'm playing a game like Terraria, that's a game where I'm just going to be talking. You know, like we'll be talking about what I'm doing, but I also just want to chat. I just want to hang out. I just want to chill. I just want to be there for people who want something playing in the background, or maybe want to be able to just talk and have a safe space. Maybe they've had a rough week. You know, that's that kind of game. So I think we'll still do that. We'll probably do some other game as well. I'm going to release the weekly hypnosis recording. That's still going to be a regular thing, but I think we'll pick this up next week. And the only reason I say that is because I am absolutely cooking, and I do have some other things that I need to take care of today that I don't want to rush too much. I don't know. I'm torn. I do really want to finish this up. I mean, this is the halfway point. We've been going for about 2 hours. I could go for another 2 hours. I really could, but I don't know. I'll tell you what, we're going to do it like this. We're going to take a 1 hour break, and then I'm going to come back. We're just going to do another Gorilla stream. We're going to go through the second half today, and we're going to get it all done today. And then when do I get to the next part? Well, we'll see. But I will say this. I know that the other trials are longer. Obviously, this is the tutorial trial. This is the first trial. We're not going to get through every single case in one day, considering how long I can imagine some of those other cases are going to be. That's just not going to friggin' happen. So we're just going to shut things down for a little bit, take a break, take a breather. I'm going to come back in an hour, but an hour or so. Again, Gorilla stream, you know, YOLO, wing it, whatever. Let's just do this. And yeah, we're going to shut it down for a bit, and I will start this back up again in a little bit. If you're watching live, cool. If you're watching the VODs, you're not going to care. The next part will be up pretty much when you're done watching this part. So I'm going to be back in a bit. Take a quick break. We'll come back in another stream in a bit. I don't know what the normal protocol is for taking a break in a stream, but just the fact that it's going to be for a little bit, I'm just going to make it a separate stream. We'll just make it a part 2, since I expect that'll be the trend anyway. So we will start back up then. We will shut down for now. Take care. I'll see you guys in a bit.